Reducing balance loans with the TVM solver. So we've discussed reducing balance loans and we've looked at the TVM solver, but we haven't put them together yet. We're just going to start with finding a couple of different things with the TVM solver. But actually we can find any one of these values with the TVM solver for a reducing balance loan. We can find out what happens if we change the requirements of the loan partway through, if we want to pay it off faster. There's a lot of stuff that we can do with this. You really will need to be able to understand the TVM solver, not just learn the method for finding the balance or learn the method for finding the repayment, because there's too many methods and you'll get confused. So you have to understand what's happening. Now you'll remember that a reducing balance loan, we've looked at it so far with a table where every repayment we have the interest that's charged based on the previous balance. We make a repayment, so that it goes up by the interest, down by the repayment, and we have a new balance of the loan. So every compounding period, interest is charged onto the loan, we repay some value off the loan, and we get a new balance. The most common type of loan that we're going to deal with, of course, would be a home loan. Now, a quick reminder, N, number of compounding periods. Interest rate is given as % per annum. Now PV is present value, and if we're ever asked for the principal, or we're given the principal, that will be the PV. So when you're thinking about the loan at the start of the period that you're thinking about, if it's a principal, that's going to go in here. Now you'll remember that we were a bit funny with positives and negatives. The principal goes in as positive because the money is positive if we've got the use of the money. Where's the money going? The bank lent us this money, it came to us. PMT stands for payment. So these are our repayments, and it's negative because I'm giving money back to the bank. It's going away from me. I don't like it when money goes away from me. That's negative. And you must use the negative key, not just the minus key. So this is what's new in this from last time we used the TVM solver, is that we're making repayments. FV is the future value. Now, this can be positive or negative or zero. It's positive if you have paid too much. Usually not going to happen. So if you've paid off more than you needed to over the whole length of the loan, the future value would end up positive and you would have to get some money back. Not as likely. Future value negative means that we still owe an amount. Zero for a future value means the loan has been paid in full. Now this is actually really important. Anytime we need to find the repayment amounts, anytime we're calculating based on I need to pay this loan off completely, we will set the future value to zero because I want to owe no money. I want to have paid it off. And PY and CY are, of course, number of compounding periods or payments per year, and they're the same. Sorry about getting a bit crowded in here. So that's a reminder about all these things that we should already know. So, using all this, Andrew borrows $20,000 at 7.25% per annum, compounding monthly. The loan will be repaid over 4 years with repayments of $481.25 each month. How much does Andrew still owe after 3 years? Now, we're starting out with a tricky question because there's 2 periods of the loan here. They've said 4 years, but the question wants to know, how much does Andrew still owe after 3 years? Look at the question. Don't be fooled by this 4 years. This is the information about the loan. After 4 years, it's paid off completely. It will have 0 future value. But we want to know how much Andrew still owes after 3 years. So let's have a look. Remember, I said if you can, always put PY and CY in first. We're compounding monthly and payments are monthly. They will always match in our problems. So PY and CY are 12. Then I said if you can, put in N next, and that will be 12 times, so it comes from here, 12 times the number of years in the problem. And the number of years in the problem is 3. We don't want to know how much he still owes after 4 years. He'll have paid it off. It will be repaid. It'll be 0. We want to know after 3 years. Then put in everything else we've got. 20,000 for the principal. And there's my interest rate. So present value, 20,000. Interest rate per annum. Now, they've given us the repayments, and repayments are negative. Negative 481.25, and the future value is what we solve for. So anytime you do this, you should have got to this stage before you even pick up your calculator. You should have written it all down. Then, apps, 1 and 1 for TVM solver, and enter everything in. 12 times 3, we might as well get our calculator to do the maths for us, but do write in that that's 36. Interest rate, present value, payment, negative, sorry, I'll just try to make that a little clearer, 481.25. Oops. Leave your future value as 0 because you're going to have to come back and solve. Make these 12. Move back to what you want to solve for and alpha. Solve down at the enter key. A negative future value says we still owe money. So we write after the solve what our value was. Negative 5554.36, rounding to 2 decimal places, and a word answer. How much does Andrew still owe? Andrew still owes and we're saying he owes, so that effectively is negative. So we don't write he owes negative 555. This comes out as negative, but that means owing. So he owes like that. I wonder if I can focus this better. It's a bit blurry, sorry. So that's how we tackle that sort of question. This one's finding out what the monthly repayments are. So the question hasn't told us what the monthly repayments are. It's a good thing to know. Sid borrows $10,000 to be repaid with monthly payments over 5 years. Interest compounds monthly at 12% per annum. Find his repayment amount. Put in what we know. Payments are monthly, compounding monthly. That means PY and CY are 12, which means N will be 12 times. Now he's paying it off over 5 years. and we'll have to pay it off completely, so we need the full 5 years. Interest rate, 8% per annum. Principal, present value, positive because it's coming to SID, 10,000, sorry, we don't need that comma there. Now, the payment is what we're solving for because it says find his monthly repayment amount. And the repayments are based on paying off the loan in full, so our future value must be 0 because he needs to calculate how to repay the whole loan. Clear everything that was in there before, just by popping 0 in everything is easier. Oops. PY and CY are 12. N, might as well use the time to check that I did the maths right. Yes, I did. I'm so good. Interest rate, principal of 10,000. Payment stays as 0 because we'll solve for it. Future value is 0 because we need to pay off the loan. Move up to payment, alpha, solve, and write in what we've got. I usually give a few extra decimal places when I'm writing that, and then, therefore, read the question, find his monthly repayment amount, SID's monthly repayment, sorry about the vacuum cleaner noise out there, and again, we don't give this as a negative, because you don't say, I will repay negative 200, no. His monthly repayment amount is $202.76, round to 2 decimal places.